Hello, welcome everybody to Baby Sprinkle. We have one of our favorite all-time baby sprinkle experts, Shonté from YOLO Breastfeeding. She is certified in everything possible that you could ever want. So you're an international board certified lactation consultant and a birth doula, correct?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yes, and we have spoken many times.
We have.
Welcome.
Thank you. This is one of my faves. I look forward to it.
It's so fun. I love it too. Why don't you, so we reached out to you who are founding the event and said, what questions do you have? And we got a ton for Shonté, and that's wonderful. So we're going to do a little bit different this time for those of you who have followed us before. We're going to dive right into the questions, but I would love for you, Shonté, to just kind of tell for newbies who you are, where you can find your services, and how people can connect with you.
Yes, so I am Shonté Terhune-Smith, like you probably already know. And I am located in Genesee County. All of my services right now are free. Well, not all of them, except for the doula part. But all lactation services are free through a grant, which is awesome. I just love that.
Amazing.
So don't look at it as a barrier. Feel more than happy to reach out. And so I just started a lactation clinic also. So still home visits are still an option. I can still totally do home visits. But if you would like to come into the clinic is still free. But the cool thing about the clinic, we have a nurse practitioner, a midwife, and an occupational therapist. So the midwife wouldn't be your midwife for delivery, but she's available for prenatal questions. She's available for postpartum questions, and she does the prenatal breastfeeding plan. So like it's a whole process to everything. If you are preeclamptic, if you have any blood pressure issues or concern before or after delivery, you can get a free breastfeeding cup. So it's a lot going on. I'm excited.
A lot going on. Where is the clinic? Where can people connect with that?
Yes. So still because we're not walking. So please still utilize either the website, or you can always call or text and make an appointment. Email too. That's still an option. But it's located at 3560 Flushing Road.
Okay. We will provide all of the information to connect with all of these avenues.
It's free. Okay.
It's like I've said this to you multiple times. Like my oldest is almost a teenager, but I had the hardest time, and I was determined to get him to latch. And it's just, if I would have had this information all those years ago, I mean, my life would have been so much easier. So I'm so happy that you are here at Every Baby Sprinkle to provide it.
Yes.
Yes. Wonderful.
Look, if I had me, I would have nursed my oldest one longer.
Right? Same. I was like, just make it to 4 months. And I was like, make it to 6 months. And I was like,
yes.
So true. And yeah, Shonté's also a mom. So, I mean, you have the professional background, obviously, but you also have the everyday. I've been there. I've done that.
4 kids. I got you covered. I understand.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, why don't we dive in, if you don't mind, and we'll just kind of dig into some of these questions. I don't know if in our recording if we'll get through all of them, but we'll make sure we go back through and circulate them to you. Yeah. And if you guys watch this video, have any questions that pop up that you thought, oh, shoot, I should have asked that, just let us know. Shonté's always so amazing about following up and answering questions. And we just want to make sure from Mid-Michigan moms that you are informed and empowered and have all the information at your disposal, because it makes it so much easier.
It does. It makes a difference.
It makes a huge difference. Yeah. Whether you're a first-time mom or not a first-time mom, nursing and lactating and all these things can be so challenging. Yes. So great. Well, why don't we dive in? These are just picked at random. I just, going down the list of all these questions. So our first question was, what would you recommend to a mom to start pumping if she plans to go back to work? What's an ideal schedule? And is there products that you could help recommend? That's pretty loaded, but.
It's loaded, but it's a question I get often. So, what would I recommend? Typically, if you are like returning to work, like so with my return to work plans for breastfeeding, I usually suggest like a week or two before returning to work, because I know moms feel more confident if they have a stash.
Heck yeah.
So if you have a stash, you're gonna feel more confident. Even in the beginning, if you are collecting milk in that haka or in those breast shells, stash that milk. That could be that go like instead of you saying like, oh, I'm sleepy, just go ahead and feed a bottle, stash that milk for when you're going back to work. And then it's like it's just piling up. Early in the morning, you make your most milk. So if you like, oh, I don't have that much time to pump to make a stash. I have other littles. Or if you just like all this demand on my body, I don't want to do all that yet. If you could at least pump early in the morning, that's building up that stash. So I usually suggest though that 1 week at least before, or even those 2 weeks before, your work schedule and when you're going to take those breaks, like at home, pump those breaks. Still put the baby to the breast first, and then you can pump as if you were at work, just to start letting your body know, like, hey, we about to switch the routine up. And you just telling your body, I need you to make more milk around those times. We getting the body ready and going on for the next one. So once again, we getting the body ready, you feel more confident, and you building your stash. So like a week or two before, at least. You don't need to all this extra pumping and getting the oversupply and stressing yourself out. That should be enough time. Any products I suggest? I can't say like I suggest it as a lactation consultant. I can't put my stamp on nothing, but I will say from what moms tell me, a lot of moms love the hand-free pumps. I know y'all.
Right. Like yes. I did not have that. And that would have been amazing.
A game changer. All these little kids, and I could have just put it.
Walked around.
Game changer, right? So if you like, okay, it's not in my budget. I am here to tell you, from what I understand from other moms, if you get you the Willow, by the end of everything, you will spend like $800 on you getting everything else that you need for you to use the Willow.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yes, I've had a few moms tell me that, because you have to buy everything Willow branded.
Okay.
So the LV is like right up under that. But if you're a mom on a budget, Mom Cozy, Walmart.com. You can buy one side for $50.
Wow.
You can get it on Amazon.
Mom Cozy?
Mom Cozy. On Amazon, it might say S1 or it might say Mom Cozy. Okay. But either way, it's around the same price. If you like, I might as well get both sides. Like $120, you have the double hands-free. So moms on a budget, you can do that. But if you get a hands-free pump, I usually always suggest to moms to also still get you a double electric pump, because some moms feel like it still doesn't completely drain them. It could be like convenient on the go, and I totally get it. But for some moms, hey, it's like I still need a little more. I don't feel as empty as I should. So it's good to just put one on the registry, get one through your insurance if you have to.
Oh my gosh, right. If you can get one through your insurance, that is fab. Oh gosh. Well, great. Those are some hot tips.
Yeah.
No.
And one more thing. I almost forgot. Because people always say, I can't get the baby to take a bottle before I go back to work.
Oh, right.
You don't give the baby the bottle. These babies are smart. Okay, especially these pandemic babies. They real smart. Okay. They try to they're boss babies. They know you have the breast.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that makes sense, right?
They're like, give me the breast. This is not what we do. So you need to disappear, give baby to your partner, support person, whomever, leave the house, take a walk, go to the grocery store, and let them give the baby the bottle. And try not to keep switching bottles or nipples. Try to be consistent for a while. A lot of times you switching too often, you're not giving the baby a chance to get used to anything.
To get used to it. Those are great tips. Yeah. No, they are smart. Babies are super smart. Yeah. Yeah. I love that. Awesome. Well, you answered that loaded question very informatively.
I told you I get it a lot.
I'm sure. These are all great questions. All right. The second one, I'm sure you get this a ton as well. And we often get this question too at Mid-Michigan Moms. Any tips on breastfeeding multiple children?
So if you're nursing 2 little people at the same time, always say if you could put some people say I put one baby on one breast and the other baby on the other.
Okay.
You can do that. That's fine. You don't have to like rotate them breasts. Always offering your smaller baby to breast first.
Okay.
Because hey, the little person needs, we're gonna make sure they get enough. And then you can nurse them both at one time, or you don't have to. People feel like they have to do it, but like, oh, I need to tandem nurse. You don't have to. You can totally do it separate. And you can set boundaries with your toddler. It's okay. It's not a bad thing. Or you can always express and put it in a sippy too. Because I think that's the biggest thing. People are touched out.
Yes. Oh my gosh. I've been there. I have been there. Yes.
And if you've been nursing for like 2 years, then you just had a baby. And then say if your goal is to nurse this baby for a year, anytime you pump, here you go, sweet thing. Just go ahead and take it in the sippy. Or you could do night and nap time nursing.
Oh, I did that for a while actually with my middle child. And it was a great, because I had a 2-year-old running around who was into everything. Yes. I love that tip.
So it doesn't have to be an all or nothing. You can really kind of just do it how you want to do it. Like I said, this breast is for you. This is breast for you. You can always nurse the newborn first, and then you can do what you want with your toddler after.
Yeah, I love
Pull out that sippy cup and get that baby some breast. It's all right.
I love that. It's cute. No, these are awesome tips. And it took me a while to figure that out when I had my second child and I had this little one running around who was into everything. And I had to sit there and it took me a very long time to figure out how to manage that. So if I had these tips in advance and to know that it's okay if you make it work for your lifestyle and your schedule too.
That's it.
Yeah, that's perfect. Great. Well, okay. Another question we often hear as well, breasts come in all shapes and sizes.
Yes.
So if you are smaller chested, is there anything you can help recommend to women who are struggling with nursing?
Size don't matter. You can be part of the itty bitty crew. It's okay.
I love it.
It's okay. Like you can have small breasts and have an awesome supply. That doesn't mean that you won't make enough milk. I don't want you to feel that way. There's nothing different that you need to do with a mom who has triple D's.
Okay. This is good to know. Yeah. No, that's awesome. Because that's a big size difference.
It is. Now the mom with triple D's is concerned she's smothering her baby. Like,
yes, I felt that way. And I'm not even that large chested, but I remember one of the nurses in the hospital told me I was smothering my baby. I was like, oh, I don't know what I'm doing. I was just my first child. And then I read that you can't, like they can breathe and they can. You work together.
And they're smart enough. They'll go like that. Like,
yeah.
And you can support your breast in a way where it's like, no. So it doesn't matter the size of your breast. The size of your breast does not determine your milk supply.
Okay. This is good to know.
So you don't you do nothing special or feel that you need to do anything special.
Right. That's good to know. All right. Awesome. What are your thoughts? This is totally switching gears on prenatal pumping and expression for somebody with gestational diabetes.
I saw that question.
That's an interesting question. I'm not even sure I know what I'm trying to like process this question in my own mind here. Yeah.
I get this one a lot, but without the gestational diabetes part. I just get this one without the gestational diabetes.
Right.
Part. So the thing is, you are at risk, possibly if you have gestational diabetes, for like a delay on your onset of your milk production, right?
Oh, I didn't know that.
You could maybe lag a day or so, like with the transition from your colostrum to your full milk. You might be a little draggy. And then, of course, because your baby has gestational diabetes, your baby also will be getting their blood sugars checked frequently after
Right.
delivery. So the thing about it is your baby got to eat. And so that makes moms concerned about, I planned on not supplementing my baby. And that's why the
Right.
concern of, and the need, the urgency to want to express colostrum before delivery.
Okay.
So this is my other hat. I can't say for sure you can't. I'm not supposed to tell you that. That's outside of my scope. Now,
Ah.
if your provider, if your OB, your
Okay.
midwife says, I clear you, it's safe for you to do that. And usually, like, that safe zone might be at 36, 37 weeks, because we have to
Really?
remember the expression of colostrum. If you're hand expressing, I really wouldn't suggest pumping, but if you are hand expressing some colostrum, then you're also, either way, if you pumping or hand expressing, you're releasing oxytocin.
Oh.
Oxytocin, although it's our feel good hormone, it plays that part in contracting. So you
Yes.
could potentially
Oh my gosh.
bring
Go.
on labor.
Oh boy.
And the honest truth, a 36, 37 weeker, that's still a preterm baby.
Oh my
It's
gosh.
late preterm, but it's still preterm. So if you were at risk, but then we have to think about it too. That's just like if you were nursing your toddler while you were pregnant. Most of the time it's okay. But if you start like spotting, contracting early, a lot of times your OB, your midwife might say, hey, maybe you need to stop lactating because it's putting you at risk.
Oh boy, I never thought about that, but that makes absolute sense. Yeah.
So it's kind of one of those things, like, it's possible and maybe you can, but is it safe for you to do it at that time?
Okay. All
Because
right.
if you leaking, and like, some people leak a lot. I had a mom
Yeah.
almost fill up a breast shell. You can put on a breast shell and just collect. It's nothing wrong with you collecting the milk.
Oh, that's a good idea too. If you're someone who is doing that. Yeah.
If you leaking like that, shoot, I don't believe in wasting milk.
Right.
But the act of you actually expressing
Right.
is something different.
Interesting. That is
Yeah.
something that's something new that I have learned tonight. And every time I talk to you, I learn something new.
You always say that. That makes me feel good. I'm like,
I do. I do. Honestly, it didn't even occur to me that you could express prior to, but like, the ramifications of
yeah,
potentially. So again, it depends on your provider. Talk to your provider about that and what is best for you.
definitely. And you can freeze it. You can bring it to the hospital, because if you're like, my goal is breast milk only. And now, I'll let you in on a little secret.
Yes.
Depending on where you deliver and what you medically may have going on, you may be able to ask for donor milk.
Oh, I bet a lot of people do not know that.
They don't. I'm probably gonna get in trouble for that one.
Oh,
But
I didn't hear anything.
but it's a good question to ask. And I'm a big advocate for community milk sharing. So if it was like your sister
Right?
or maybe a really close relative friend that you know and you're
Right.
okay with using their milk.
Yeah, we have talked about this before. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I feel like we should share our discussion where we did talk about that because we had a hearty discussion about it. I think it was last time that we met.
We
So,
did. And
yeah.
it's, if you think about it, people, and this is probably part of our conversation. So real quick, like, people were shamed for this, but if you think about it, we've done this for generations.
Right. And like a wet nurse, right? Or something.
Yes.
Yes.
It's
Yes.
been for generations. So to now all of a sudden make it gross and something strange, like, women have been helping women for thousands of years.
Yes. Absolutely.
So, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Oh, hot tips. All right. Thank
Mhm.
you. This is one we talk about every time, but I do feel like it's important.
Mhm.
If you have low supply, like what are the best tips for someone who has low supply, especially if perhaps they've had a child and it's been a significant amount of time in between and they're looking to nurse again with their second or third child or beyond?
So is this a twofer? Is this, you
Probably.
have a child and you have a low milk supply? or if you've had low milk supply in the past, and what can you do in the future?
This particular individual had 3 children over 10 years ago and struggled with low supply. So she's wondering what's changed and how can she improve her supply if she's having the issue again with her upcoming child.
A few things. This is one of those loaded questions.
It is. They're all loaded.
They've all been pretty loaded. So you could possibly have a medical issue.
Okay.
That may not have been addressed yet.
Okay. Yes.
It's a possibility.
I think we've talked about that before.
Yeah. So this mom, to answer your question, if you have PCOS, endometriosis, thyroid issues, anemia, because a lot of people don't realize if you are like anemic, if it's severe enough, it could be impacting your milk supply.
Yeah.
If you hemorrhage sometimes, like depending on how much you hemorrhage after delivery, all of those things could have been risk factors for her. But if your breasts are hypoplastic, so that's meaning like if it's a really large space, more than what the average person has in between the breasts, and your breasts are kind of coney, like the nipple area, areola comes out coney, that could mean that that's a sign of like that PCOS, hormonal type of issues that could be hindering you from having the milk supply that you could have had.
Interesting. Okay.
But I always preface, just because it happened before, just like every pregnancy is different, every breastfeeding experience could be different.
Oh gosh, I can even say that from my non-expert, experience.
It could be so different. And so the thing about it too, now I'll say this, because you've had this history, is interesting to what all supplements were you taking? Because I even had a coworker, I said to her, she's like pumping 6 months. She was like, I'm making just enough. And she's like, I'm hoping I can make it to my year goal with the formula shortage, right?
Right.
And I'm like, you're just making enough. And so I'm just thinking like, this is like her 4th child. She knows like what she's doing. One day I see her drinking tea. I'm like, oh, I love tea. I'm like, oh, what you drinking? What kind is that? Oh, it's mother's milk tea. I'm like, girl, that's why your supply is barely enough for all this stuff. So for those of you who don't know, mother's milk tea has fenugreek in it. And yes, you may have had a girlfriend who was like, oh, I took fenugreek and it worked great. But for a good majority of people, fenugreek will lower your milk supply. I know a lot of people don't know that. So any supplements that you take, if they have fenugreek in them, toss them. If you got it in your cabinet right now, toss it. Stop drinking that mother's milk tea.
Wow.
Then, if you have hormonal issues, it's interacting. It could like be interacting with your medication. People don't know that. And if you are a NICU mom, definitely, and I understand like interventions, having a baby early, all of that. You like, I'm trying to increase my supply. I got to get this breast milk to my baby. It's a medical intervention, and all of that is true. But do not drink or take fenugreek because it will upset the baby's stomach. I saw an x-ray of a baby who had mom took mother's milk tea and the baby's stomach was so distended and has so many issues.
Oh my gosh.
So people don't know and these products are marketed as lifesavers, and we hear testimonials from other moms like it worked for me. They were the exception of the rule that it worked for them. So definitely try to avoid those. So it could have been something that you took that could have possibly hindered your milk supply.
Interesting.
We can body armor. I saw that in the body armor, blue Gatorade. What else do I get? Drinking like a gallon of water. Body armor probably worked for you because you weren't hydrated. And now you're intentionally drinking. Do I think it's the coconut water? No, I don't think it's the coconut water because it's not that much in there. Because if that's the case, just drink you some coconut water. if that's the case. Why the blue Gatorade? I don't know why it's only that color, but I still say you were probably dehydrated. And I
Right.
always say
Oh,
you should
yeah.
drink to thirst. Breastfeeding is taking like a lot from you, and
Oh
you
my
need
gosh, I remember being so thirsty, like I could never and I would
and
drink a
hungry.
ton. Yes, yes,
Used to be
starving.
super hungry. I'm like just sitting here
Yes.
burning calories and not eating enough. Like, oh my gosh. But I also feel like if you drink too much, well, it's not
Mhm.
just me that feel that way. It's evidence that says if you drink too much, though, like we already know when you, and I remember you telling me like how you increased your water intake and how it started giving you energy. Look, I think
Yeah,
about that all the time when I'm sluggish.
yeah.
I'm like, Courtney told me she drank more water. She had more.
I'm so wise.
I'm like, I need to make sure I'm getting my water in. But if we drink too much, we flush, right? You got to think
Oh,
if
right.
you flushing fluids that could be helping you produce more milk from your body. So don't be out here drinking a gallon, 2 gallons of water.
That's so true. Because, like, if you're not nursing and you drink a ton of water, it's great to flush. But perhaps when you're providing nutrients for another human being, it might not be the best idea.
For you to just flush, flush, flush. Because and you thinking like, oh, I'm hydrating, I'm hydrating.
Yeah.
More water means more milk, and you could have the opposite effect.
Oh my gosh. This is such a science behind this. Like,
It
it's
is. And people be like, oh my gosh, they really pay somebody to be a lactation consultant.
heck
They
yeah.
do. Like
Yes. Yes. Oh my gosh. Yeah. All right.
they do. So that I try to cover all the supplements.
Yeah. Someone said a cookie, Milk Maker's cookies, or
Still, and then I worry about mamas because I don't want you eating too much sugar either.
oh, right. Yeah.
Like I don't
Yeah.
want you doing that. But there's some pretty decent recipes. Like even if you you'll have grandma say, just drink you a beer, it'll help you make more milk.
My mom told me.
Really? Did she tell you that?
Yeah. Is it true? Is it true?
So let me tell you why it probably worked for them back in the day. Because beer has brewer's yeast in it. It's not the beer, it's the brewer's yeast.
It's the yeast.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
So you
Yeah,
can just go to the store and buy you some brewer's yeast, make you a smoothie and whatnot, and it may help. But like if you really had issues, there's like Reglan. The thing about the Reglan though, some people they get depressed, they're sleepless with it. So it's kind of like I'm increasing my milk supply, but now I got postpartum depression. It could be.
oh my God. Right. Right. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Yeah. I say the best thing is like for you to always seek help early. Like, even though it could totally go different for you this time, if you notice any supply issues, just make sure like you reach out early because maybe it could be just a simple fix. It could have been
Yes.
like, especially if you were pumping, it could have been the flange size. It could have been the pump. And some people respond differently to different pumps.
Right. Right. No, that makes
So,
sense.
yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
It's a
Everybody
big
is different.
troubleshoot. It's a big troubleshoot. So
Yeah.
just seek help early. Early. Call me.
Yes. So let's touch upon that. How, like, at what point while you're still pregnant can someone reach out to you to seek your services for the lactation consulting? Because I'm assuming for your birth doula business, it's like when they're first expecting, right?
No, you'll be
No?
amazed. I had somebody contact me and she's like, yeah, I'm due next week. You're due next week.
Oh, wow.
Oh my gosh. I was like, oh, it's hard for me to just commit to a birth like the next week.
Yeah,
But I've
because
had people reach out late in the game, and I get it. And maybe they just got educated on what a doula is.
right. I didn't know
So
what one was when I had my first child. I'd never even heard the word. Yeah.
exactly. But now it's gaining popularity, and people are starting to learn more about it. So at
Yeah.
anytime during your pregnancy, you can reach out to me. I teach classes, and I always suggest that you take a breastfeeding class. You'll feel more prepared. It takes that anxiousness out of it. You're
Yes.
not like, so yeah, because it's hard, like to teach someone in a hospital setting all of a sudden how to breastfeed.
Oh.
You're sleep deprived. Like,
Oh my gosh. I will never forget.
Yeah.
I had the most amazing labor and delivery nurse for my first child, right? It must have been after I had my child, and she came in and like tried to help me so much, and she was just wonderful. But I was so tired, I didn't know what I was doing, and my baby was so hungry. I was like, all he does is cry.
All he does is cry and eat. Like, I just want to go to sleep. Like,
there's no sleeping.
There's no sleeping. So yes. So yeah, at any point, I don't like to teach class too early because I want you to retain it, and you got pregnancy brain.
Yes.
So but coming up with like a plan and like assessing like what's your potential barriers to you possibly reaching your breastfeeding goals, like medical history tells you a lot.
Yeah. So, yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, that's a huge tip. Like your medical history and absolutely. Good. All right. Well, my gosh, we've had a lot of questions that are kind of very similar. So I think we've answered a lot of the questions through what we've been talking about. This is a question I have never heard of, but I'm sure you have. Is it possible for your milk to not be nutritious enough?
I just don't like when people say this because I think it's such a guilt thing for moms, like to hear like, oh, my milk isn't nutritious enough. Yeah. But the thing about it, look, I picked up a comb like,
Yeah, it's important. I'll pick up my pencil. Listen.
Unless your baby is like premature and like they're like refortifying your breast milk, that's one thing. But like if your pediatrician is just like, your breast milk isn't nutritious enough, how do they know that?
Yeah, how do they know that? Like what that's a really good question.
They're not sending it off somewhere and being like, oh, it's not enough calories. You're at 18 and you need 22. They're not doing that. It could be I've heard the dog is upset. The dog says no.
Oh my God, my poor husband doesn't even like the dog. He's like, what do I do? Okay. Oh my God. I'm so sorry. Thank God we're not live. I'm like, how do I mute myself? How do I mute myself? Oh my God.
The dog is seeking freedom. That's all.
Yes. It's all. Yes. Oh my God. Yeah. The dog's like my fourth baby. So she wants to be on my lap all the time.
That's why we don't have a dog.
Oh my gosh. You might someday. Yes. Okay. You were saying, should we finish answering that question? So we were talking about milk not being nutritious enough.
Yeah.
Yes. And
yeah. So don't just take the answer. Seek help. Okay.
Seek help. That makes sense.
Unless your baby is like I said, premature in the NICU, that's a totally different situation. Right. And it's not even still saying that your breast milk is enough. Your baby just needs more calories.
Yeah.
Like to make sure your baby's hitting a certain amount of calories for their development. Right. But in a situation where it's like, oh, they just throwing that out there as a reason to why the baby's not gaining weight, seek a lactation professional so that they can see like, okay, what all is going on?
Okay.
Are you feeding often? Are the wet and poopy diapers good? Could it be something else? It could be something else with the baby besides your breast milk. Her baby had reflux. Her baby's had
reflux. Oh my gosh. One of my children had reflux. That's a tricky one. Yeah.
It is. But was it mom's milk or was it the reflux? Because if baby's spitting up and having issues, well, if the baby's spitting up a lot, that's why the baby's probably losing weight until the reflux is under control.
Oh, so it probably has nothing. It could potentially have nothing to do with the milk. It might just be that baby's not retaining the nutrition. Yeah, because those reflux spit ups, if you've ever been through it, I mean, they're big and chunky. Mm-hmm. It's like cottage cheese. It's a lot.
Yeah. And sometimes your baby fussy, doesn't want to eat. Could it be intolerance? And babies like, I've seen babies who are really, really fussy at the breast, and they thought, it's just colic, and And I'm like, no, I really think you really need to advocate and say, test my baby for dairy allergies. And I've had quite a few of those babies come back with confirmed dairy allergies.
Yeah. No, I've heard that, gosh, not so common, but much more recently, lately, that's a thing. And I think originally people were like, oh, no, but no, it's a thing.
It is. And so that poor, we just saying like, oh, this poor baby, and it's just colic.
Right.
Nope.
Yeah. Maybe, maybe look further into it. Yeah.
Yep, definitely. Really like, so just don't take that, and definitely reach out for lactation support. Definitely.
Amazing. All right. Well, so here's something totally different. If you have type 2 diabetes, are you able to breastfeed?
You are.
Yes.
You are. You are. And it's like recommended because it can help with your type 2 diabetes while you're breastfeeding.
Well, that's great to know.
So you can. It's recommended. There's nothing wrong.
Perfect. Great question. Yeah, we've never had that one before. Here is an awesome question. I know you're going to provide the perfect answer. What is the difference between a doula and a very supportive, proactive husband or partner?
Look, I love my dads. Okay. My dad's in births. Oh my gosh. I've birthed with some awesome, awesome fathers. The difference is I want dad to be real involved. I'm not there to take place of dad. Doulas are not there to take a place of dad, grandma, sister. Not at all. Not at all. The doula is there to support both of you.
I love that. Love that. Yes.
It's not just focus on mom. I'm there to support both of you. It's been times I had to tell dad, like, hey, maybe you should sit down because you look like your knees getting weak on me.
Don't pass out.
Look that way. Don't look back down here no more. Like, and the doula can be so like in births, I take pictures in black and white. I want both of you to enjoy the moment.
Yeah. Oh, I love that.
What do you see? Dad's trying to cut the cord, take the picture at the same time.
Yeah. Oh, it's ridiculous. Yes. We don't even have pictures of any of that because
it's just
the
all
moments are so quick.
Like, let your doula help you enjoy the moment.
Oh, I love that.
Be focused. Doula can help bring you guys some food, some beverages, and it's a tag team effort. Dad could get tired, doula tag you in, or dad could be doing counter pressure. Your doula could be helping you focus on the breathing. This is like an effort. Like, we are a team.
Yeah, I love that.
That's the point. You a good doula, a doula that's like well prepared and educated, will tell you they want dad to be involved. I tell people when they interview me for a doula, like, I suggest you bring your partner with you.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. You can be on the same page and they understand. Yeah.
And then I don't want to walk in the room and I'm like, hey, I'm introducing myself to the part. Like, now you having to get to know me in your birthday experience. I want you to be comfortable.
Yeah. So, no, I think that's so important because I mean, those are precious moments, and
it is.
Yes. Yeah, I love that. No, that was actually a really good question because
if
you're not familiar with what a doula is or does, like, that's a legit question.
It is.
Okay, so this is one of my favorite questions because I'm hoping Elmo's going to come out. We always have our special guest.
Stays ready. Okay.
Hi, Elmo. So, latching tips, and if someone is having trouble with the latch, I know I definitely went through that. I know firsthand how frustrating it is. Can you show us?
Yes.
Positioning.
I can. So I think the number one thing that everyone does, especially with the new baby, you want to go nipple to mouth. You just want to help your baby. And I understand because you're like, the baby's all hungry and frantic and you just like trying to hurry up and get it in their mouth.
Yeah.
But what I suggest is taking the nipple, brushing the upper lip or even nose. Like, if you can remember M&Ms, I always say in and in, nose and nipple.
Oh, I love that.
That's how I try to get people to remember. Always remember that you holding around here, around the jawline. You're not holding the back of the head because you want the baby to lean back with a nice wide mouth. Elmo is
Yeah.
so perfect for this. Well, I mean,
Elmo's great.
I want the mouth to look almost like it's so
Right.
sweet.
Right.
So if you think about it, the baby leans back. You guys meet at an asymmetric angle.
Okay.
So Elmo is showing you really how the baby should look. The chin should be touching the bottom of the breast, and I like to see the nose resting up top.
Okay.
But the
Perfect.
chin, look at that. You see how you can see like that's not a
Yeah.
deep latch. You want a nice deep latch. Your baby should look like it's trying to eat a hamburger.
Ah, that's a good one. Like it's trying to eat a hamburger.
Like, because you know that little mouth can't eat a burger,
Yeah.
but it shouldn't be looking like it's sipping out of a straw.
Right. Oh my gosh. And I would imagine I've been there. That hurts. Like if it
It does.
hurts, it's not being done correctly.
Yes. And the reason why you experience nipple pain, because if you think about it, if you take your tongue and you go like right behind your upper teeth, like your top
Yeah.
teeth, you can feel your hard palate. That's your hard
Yeah.
palate. You feel all those ridges. If you go
Right.
further back in your mouth,
It's
you feel the
soft.
soft. And
Yeah.
that's why you want the deeper latch.
Oh, I've never heard that
Look at
before.
that. Tidbits. Tidbits with Elmo on the breast. So yes, that's what you want. And you want to remember to keep the baby close to the breast, the whole feed. Use
Okay.
those boppies, use those pillows, use them both.
Yeah. Yeah. Pillows were my best friend with doing that.
Pillows are my
Yes.
best
You need
friend
the
too.
right, positioning
Yes.
and such.
Because you after a while, you know your arm is gonna get tired.
Oh my gosh.
So
Yes.
definitely. And then too, what I noticed, people are nursing more and more like this, where the baby's arms and
Oh.
then nursing like and then trying to latch the baby that way.
Oh,
I
how?
always say take this arm and
Yeah.
move it because if you think you're pushing the baby further away from your breast by trying to
Yeah.
latch
That looks
that,
like uncomfortable too.
it's uncomfortable for both of you. So just take
Yeah.
that one hand, wrap it around your body, especially if you got you a handsy baby. It
Yeah.
helps a lot because you got one hand down and you just got one hand to deal with.
Yes. A handsy
So
baby.
yes. And turn the baby into you.
Ah.
Belly to belly, chest to chest. Remember, like if you feed a baby like this, your breast is over here, and
Right.
it's just like us drinking water from the side.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Yep. So
Absolutely.
who
That
wants
makes
to nurse like that? Turn that baby on into you and let that baby have a direct target to the breast.
Yeah. I love that.
So yeah,
Awesome. Great job, Elmo.
I love Elmo. Elmo is the
Yeah.
greatest. Okay.
Love it. Well, great. I think that covered a lot of our questions. Is there anything else that you feel like you'd like to share with our audience?
Okay, we'll do a different tip this
Yeah.
year.
Yeah.
Okay. I always suggest to my doula clients if your goal is a non-medicated birth, and you can change your mind at any time in the birthing process.
Godspeed. I'm sorry.
Yes,
Wowza.
yes,
More
and it's
power to
becoming
you.
more popular. People want to attempt it. If
Yes.
that is your goal, try to labor at home as long as you can. If you don't have any emergent warning signs
Right.
of like why you should head to the hospital, try to labor at home as long as you can. You'll increase the likelihood of you having your non-medicated birth. Because if you sit in the hospital and you at 2-3 centimeters, you transition to 4 and things start to pick up, you start thinking like the epidural, the Stadol, the Demer, it's here.
It's
And
right here.
you're tempted more. But if I could get you to the hospital at about 7 centimeters,
Wow.
you might be cussing me out all the way there.
Right.
But by the time you get there, hopefully
You're just
we're
ready
in
to
the
go.
throes of it and you're delivering not long after that.
Oh, I actually love that. Yeah. I mean,
So,
if that
yeah.
is your goal and it's a wonderful goal, more power to you. That was not my goal and it is not everybody's goal.
It's not.
Yes. But I have a lot of respect for women that opt for that.
Yes. And
Yes.
like I said, always you can change your mind because sometimes we think we can do it. And then in the moment, we just need a little help.
Yes.
And sometimes you're so tense that little bit of help to
Yes.
like relax you can help progress the labor. Because
Yes.
sometimes you're so tense, you're stalling your own delivery.
Yes, absolutely. I love that.
So yeah. So definitely, like I always say, take classes, and advocate for yourself. I'm really big on that. When it comes to supplementation, even in the hospital setting, ask, can I try to express my own milk?
Yeah. Why
See if you can hand express it into a spoon, a cup, and syringe feed it to your baby. Even those first couple of weeks when you go into the pediatrician, if there's any weight concerns, ask. Like if you have the volume when you can pump, and say the doctor's like, put the baby to the breast first and then give an ounce afterwards of formula. If you can pump you an ounce or two after you put the baby to the breast, give an ounce of your breast milk instead. And I think nobody educates moms that they have that as an option.
No. Well, you do. This is why Shonté.
Like,
no.
yes.
How would you know that? You wouldn't know that, you know?
And don't feel like you that mom in the hospital setting or even with the pediatrician. Ask your questions.
Yeah.
Because there's things in place where like, and I never demonize supplementation. Sometimes it is like medically necessary and it has to be done. And I always feel bad for moms who that's their goal and they didn't want it to happen. But medically, it's the best thing for your baby. Sometimes it has to happen. But if we can prevent it and it's really not needed, there's other ways that we can get around it.
Yeah, I love that. So yeah. Awesome. Well, always such a pleasure to speak with you. Again, I learned something new every single time.
I love speaking to y'all.
Such a wealth of knowledge. And I just thank you so much for being so supportive of our event and sharing all your wisdom with our audience. Again, we're going to let you know how you can contact Shonté and seek all of her services. She covers a wide variety. Again, she's an international board certified lactation consultant and a birth doula. So she is your woman if you are pregnant.
Reach out anytime.
Anytime. Awesome. Well, wonderful. Well, so great to talk to you.
Great to talk to you as always.
Yes. And again, if you have any other questions, just let us know and we will make sure that Shonté sees your questions.
I will answer them.
You're welcome. All right. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.